All right, shalom, shalom, Israel. Is your brother Kazak Magun. First and foremost, want to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Mamalak Yahushai. That's Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God. In the name of the Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Right? So we're going to get into this article and we're going to get into some heavy prophecy, man. Some future prophecy, you know. Hey, we gonna get into it, man. We gonna get into some scriptures, man. You know how you already know. All right, so let's get into the article. This is by the New York Times. Basically going into World War III. Because that's a heavy topic right now. Especially with what's going on with Russia and Ukraine, and then you got Biden stepping in because this put him in the corner because he backs up Ukraine. But Russia kind of got him in the corner right now. So we go get into it. It says, Putin declares a nuclear alert and Biden seeks de-escalation, right? So, Salakia, let's go down. It says, when the Russian leader ordered his nuclear forces into special combat readiness, the U.S. could have gone on high alert. Instead, the administration tried not to inflame him, right? Let's keep going. It says, when Vladimir V. Putin declared Sunday that he was putting his nuclear forces into special combat readiness, a heightened alert status reminiscent of some of the most dangerous moments of the Cold War, President Biden and his aides had a choice, right? So it said they had a choice, man, because Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia, he decided to put all his special forces, his nuclear forces, on the front lines in the combat readiness, as it's saying, and so this had Biden shook, of course, because they know what kind of power Russia is coming with, It says, Salakia, let's keep going. It says they could match the move and put American forces on DEFCON 3. So Biden had this option. He had two options. He said he could match the move and put our forces on DEFCON 3, and it's finna explain what that is. It says, known to moviegoers as the moment when the Air Force rolls out bombers and nuclear silos and submarines are put on high alert, right? It says, or the president could largely ignore it, sending out aides to portray Mr. Putin as once again manufacturing a menace, threatening Armageddon for a war he started without provocation. For now, at least, Mr. Biden chose to de-escalate, right? So he chose to de-escalate. He chose to de-escalate because why? Biden knows that Russia has the power to destroy America. Everybody knows this. The Most High already told us this, right? Right? The Most High already told us this. Let's go to the scriptures. All right, let's go to the scriptures. Right? Bear with me. We're going to go to the book of Jeremiah, right? We're going to go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. And I believe I want verse... I'm going to start at verse 1, then I'm going to jump down to get the context. Right? So this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 1. It says, the word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Right? So this is what the Lord, this is a vision that the Lord gave to Jeremiah, to write down and put on paper. Right? So let's get a precept on that, just to show that the Lord always reveals his secrets to the servants, his prophets. Right, let's go to the book of Amos, chapter 3 and verse 7. It says, I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city, and Yahweh have not done it? Surely the Lord God will do nothing but he revealeth his secret unto his servants the prophets. So before the Most High do something, he reveals it unto the prophets, because and it's the prophet's job, to relay that information out to the people, to the sheep, to warn them, to repent from their ways before the Most High sends this destruction, you know. And that's what we're doing right now. We're spiritual whistleblowers, We're blowing the whistle right now. We seeing these current events, and we lining them up with the scriptures, So let me get a precept on that. Spirit just carrying me right now. Let me get a precept. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 102 and verse 7. Because you're supposed to be a spiritual watchman in this thing, man. You're supposed to be a spiritual watchman. You can't just be going day-to-day life, not knowing what's going on in the world, man. This is Psalms chapter 102 and verse 6. It says, I am like a pelican of the wilderness. I am like an owl of the desert. I watch and am as a sparrow alone upon the housetop. So, hey, you're supposed to be watching like a sparrow. You're supposed to be watching what's going on around you, what's going on far from you. You're supposed to be on your, what they say in the world, on your P's and Q's, man. Watching, being aware. Being aware of the signs of the times, right? So let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 50, and I'm going to jump down. So the Lord is prophesying, the Lord is prophesying destruction against Babylon. This is, I'm gonna just keep going. Verse 2, it says, declare ye, Jeremiah 50 and 2, it says, declare ye among the nations, and publish, and set up a standard, publish, and conceal not. Say Babylon is taken, Baal is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. Right? It says, for out of the north, it says, out of the north, there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. And who is that country that's coming out of the north? This is a twofold prophecy, right? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 11 and verse 6. Some things are double to that which is, right? Job chapter 11 verse 6, it says, and that he would show thee the secrets of wisdom, that they are double to that which is. Know therefore that God exacteth of thee less than iniquity deserveth. Right? So some things of wisdom are double to that which is. Some things got twofold meaning. Some things got threefold, manyfold meanings, man. You just got to have the wisdom and the discernment to see these things, right? So let's go back to Jeremiah, because this is a twofold prophecy, right? It said the Lord will raise up, he will bring the north country against them, right? Let's read that again. Jeremiah 50 and 3, it says, for out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. Right? So this right here is actually talking about America, right? Because it says none shall dwell therein, right? Because if this was talking about ancient Babylon, then it would be talking about the land of Iraq, and we see that people are over there dwelling now. So we know that this is not talking about ancient Babylon, right? Salakia. So this is not talking about ancient Babylon, right? This is talking about America, because it says none shall dwell therein. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, right? Chapter 13 and verse, I'm going to start at verse 1, and then I'm going to jump down. This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 1. It says, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see, right? So let's jump down to verse, I'm going to go to verse 17, right? Because back then in ancient Babylon, the Lord did raise up a north country to come up against them, right? And that was the Medes, the Persians and the Medes. They took out Babylon, right? Salakia, the Persians and the Medes took out Babylon. Right? This is Isaiah chapter 13, verse 17. It says, Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Right? So they wasn't taking no gifts. You couldn't send them no gifts. They wasn't taking no peace treaties, no none of that. They said, no, we finna destroy you. And that's what they did back then, and that's what Russia is finna do now. You know, Putin, he kind of getting tired of Biden and his sweet words and his peace treaties and all of this and all that. Putin is ready for war, man. He's ready to dominate. He's ready to control the world because he knows that Russia has the power to do so, and he's tired of just sitting back in America's shadow, man. All of these countries are. It said this Isaiah 13 and verse 18, it says, Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. Right? It says, In Babylon the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the let me read that again. Verse 18, it says, Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces. Right? Speaking about the nukes, man. The nuclear missiles, the nuclear warheads, the ICBMs. Right? That's talking about that. Right, dashing the young men into pieces. Right, all they gotta do is press the button, like it says in Isaiah 9:5. Every battle of the warriors was with confused noise, paraphrasing, but this one shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Let's talk about nuclear warfare, man. Prophesied in the Bible. Right, and that's what's coming to America. It says, In Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? So, it's going to be like when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It's going to be completely desolate. Right? It says, It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. Neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their foes there. Right? So, right now, Russia is the spiritual Medes, because they're who are going to take out Babylon, right? Whatsoever, Salakia, let me go to it. Don't want to chop it up. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, and verse 9. It says, The thing that have been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done, it is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Right? So there is no new thing under the sun. The Most High, requires what happened. The Most High requires that which happened in the past, man. Salakia. Let's go to the Ecclesiastes 3:15. It says, That which have been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. Right? And God requireth that which is past. Right? So the Most High requires that which is past. So if the Medes took out ancient Babylon, then the spiritual Medes, which is Russia, the North Country, because we finna get into some geography in this thing. Let's go back to the book of Jeremiah, Salakia, chapter 50. It's another point that I wanted to get. Let's jump down to verse 9. It says, For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the North Country. Right, from the North Country. Let's see who the North Country is. Right? Salakia. Let's first look at the ancient map, see who the ancient North Country was, right? So as you see the Babylon, you see ancient Babylon right here, right? And this is the so-called Babylonian Empire, right? But to the north, what do you have? The Median Empire, the Persian-Median Empire, right? So that was the North Country back then, right? Salakia. But Russia is also the North Country, because look at the map, on the world map. Hey, we getting into geography in this thing, man. DOSD geography, right? So you got the United States, okay, but to the east, Russia may be to the east, but it's also to the north, right? Russia is to the east, but it's also to the north. It's above America. It's above Babylon, right? So it's also it will also be the north country. Salakia. Let's go back to the scripture. It says, "For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain." Right? It says, "And Chaldea shall be a spoil, all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahweh." Right? So the Most High is going to raise up these nations, chiefly Russia and all of their allies. Let's get into some of Russia's allies. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah. I mean, not Jeremiah, Ezekiel, chapter 38, right? Ezekiel chapter 38 from the top. And Salakia if I'm going too fast. It's just a lot that I want to cover, right? Ezekiel 38 from the top. It says, "And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, and Tubal, and prophesy against him." Right? So Gog and Magog, right? So Gog and Magog, let's go to Genesis, right? Let's see who Gog and Magog is. It's not actually talking about Gog and Magog, but it's talking about the land, the people that are in that land mass over there, right? Because at first Japhites were in that land mass, but now you got Edomites over there. Because why? Esau conquered all the world and then whitewashed everything, This is the book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 1. It says, "Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth," right? It says, "And unto them were sons born after the flood," right? The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, right? So you got Magog. It says, "And Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiraz," right? So these are all these are all Japhetic nations, right? The Japhetic nations are today we know the Japhetic nations as the Polynesians, the Hawaiians, what is that over there in Fiji? Them people over there. But the people that's inherited, but back then they mostly inherited. They mostly inhabited Europe and Greece and Russia and those lands over there, but they got pushed out by Esau. Esau came and pushed them out over time because it was prophecy. It was all prophecy. It says, "And Madai, and Javan, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tiraz," right? Genesis 10 and 3. "And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphath, and Togarmah," right? So these are the Japhites, right? So Magog is a son of Japheth, right? But it's not talking about actual Magog. It's talking about the people that stand in that landmass. Right, so right now, Vladimir Putin, Russia is Gog and Magog right now, right? Let's go back to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 38. And I'm going to start from 2 again. It says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach, and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach, and Tubal, and I will turn thee back, and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth, and all thy army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, and all of them handling swords." Right? So this right here is after is at a point in time, it's after America is destroyed. After America destroyed, Russia is going to declare themselves as the world leaders, right? Russia and the EU. We see that when you go to the book of Second Esdras, chapter. Let's go to Second Esdras chapter 11 And I'm going to start from the top to get some context, then I'm going to jump down. Hey, we getting into some heavy prophecy, man. We getting deep, man. We getting deep through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, right? So this is 2nd Esdras, chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, "Then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads," right? Let's see if we can pull this up. Let's see if we can pull this up. All right. Salakia. Salakia. Trying to find a vision. Bear with me. Mm, mm, this cool, I guess. Yeah, I'll take this. Where's the picture at? Come on now, Esau. What you got going on? Where's the picture at? Folly. All right, let's just keep it like this. Right? So back to 2nd Esdras. Right? It says, "Then saw I a dream, and behold, then saw I a dream, and behold, there came up from the sea an eagle, which had 12 feathered wings and 3 heads." Right? So it said 12 feathered wings and 3 heads. What is the sea? What is the sea? What is the sea in this context? Let's get that real quick. Let's get what the sea is. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Because it said this eagle came out of the sea. Right? Revelation 17 and verse 15. It says, "And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues." Right? So the sea represents the nations. Right? So let's keep going. It says, so right, what does hold on. What does the eagle represent? The eagle represents Esau. Right? Let's go to the book of Job. Right? Let's go to the book of Job, chapter 39, verse 28. Right? Verse 27. Right? This Job 39 and 27. It says, "Does the eagle mount up at thy command and make her nest on high?" Right? So that's exactly the pride of the so-called white man. You know, he sets himself on high above all the other nations. You know, he sets himself on high. And also, you know, even on the physical level, you know, with these big skyscrapers he like to build, you know, and he's all the way on the top floor as the CEO looking down on all the common folk, you know, as his prey, you know, trying to devour their money, right? It says, "Does the eagle mount up at thy command?" Right? Yeah, you can't tell an eagle what to do. You know, you can't have a pet eagle and be like, you know, go fly over there and bring this back. You know, you can't, you know, eagle is going to do what it wants to do. It's an apex predator, right? It's not going to mount up at your command, right? It says, "And make her nest on high. She dwelleth and abideth on the rock, upon the crag of the rock," right? Meaning on the high mountains, right? It says, "In the strong place. From thence she seeketh the prey, and her eyes behold afar off." right? Hey, she seeketh the prey, man. And her eyes behold afar off. It says, her young ones also suck up blood, and where the slain are, there is she. Right? And when the slain are, there is she. Hey, she? Hey, where the eagle, hey, where the slain are, hey, expect the eagle to be there. If it was some rape, robbing, and murder happening, hey, the eagle probably done damn near done it, man. The eagle got somewhere around there. If it was some rape, robbery, and murder going on, you know, and that's the so-called white man. Everywhere you see some conquering, rape, robbery, and murder, it was a white nation conquering the so-called melanated nation. Salakia. Let's go back to the book of Second Edges, right? Oh wait, Salakia, I want to get one more on that. One more on the eagle. One more on Esau being the eagle. Let's go to the book of Obadiah, the classic. How could I forget? Right, let's go to the book of Obadiah, the classic. Obadiah, I'm going to jump down to verse... I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom, right? It says, we have heard a rumor from Yahweh, and the ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, right? Thou art greatly despised, because all these nations despise the white man. They despise his philosophies. They despise everything he come with. Hey, once all of these nations, once the Lord reveals that the white man is the devil that he is, hey, they really go hate him. Because right now, a lot of people, he got a lot of them fooled. He got a lot of people with wool over their eyes right now. But once the heavens reveal his iniquity, as it says in Job 20 and 27, hey, the earth gonna rise up against them, right? It says, verse 3, it says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, right? Because the so-called white man, hey, he used to dwell in the caves of Georgia rushes, the Caucasus Mountains, man. They was dwelling in the caves, walking on the knuckles and all that. He's the real caveman, It says, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down? And he also stayed in Mount Seir before that. He was in Mount Seir before anything, He's in Mount Seir. The Lord gave Esau Mount Seir. Esau came and conquered the world, but it was prophecy. We're going to get into that, right? It says, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground, right? Because that's his pride. He said, who shall bring me down? Can't nobody take me down. These other nations, they can't F with me, It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh. Right? Hey, so that's what's coming to the so-called white man. Right? But let's go back to 2 Esdras chapter 11. It says, and I saw, verse 2, it says, and I saw, and behold, she spread her wings over all the earth, and all the winds of the air blew on her, and were gathered together, right? So where it says she spreaded her wings, and let's talk about the so-called white man conquering the world, man. And this was prophesied to happen. Let's go to Genesis chapter 27 and verse 39. Right down to the blessings, right, of Jacob and Esau from their father Isaac, right? It's Genesis 27 and 39. It says, and Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be. I'm going to jump up to 38. It says, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me even also. Bless even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and the dew of heaven from above. Right? So it says your dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. Meaning what? You're gonna rule the whole world, man. At some point, for some point in time, you're gonna rule the whole world. And right now, that's what the white man is doing. It says, And by the sword, and by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion. Right? So right now they have the dominion. Thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Right? So they had dominion. They came out of dominion. They came into dominion after the Salakia. The Renaissance, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Revelations. Right, chapter 20 and verse Revelation chapter 20 and verse 7. Right? It says, and when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison. Right? Talk about the Middle Ages, right? And a so-called Dark Ages, right? That's when Jake, so-called African Americans, as we are known today. But we refer to ourselves as Jakes. We Israelites because we derived from Jacob. That's why we call ourselves Jakes. But Jake was ruling all over Europe. You had the Holy Roman Empire. You had the Byzantine Empire. We were ruling those times, man. That's why they call it the Dark Ages. We ruled Europe for 1,000 years, all throughout the Dark Ages, and then the time when the Renaissance came, and then you had the so-called white man come back into power. It says, verse 8, Revelation 20:8, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Right? It says Satan shall be loosed out of his prison and shall go out to deceive the nations. Right? This is talk about the Renaissance, man. So let's get another precept on that. Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 6. I believe that's what I want. No, Salakia. Revelation chapter 13. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 3. It says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? Right? So this is talking about when the deadly wound was healed. It's talking about when they came out of the Renaissance. When the Renaissance took place and the so-called white man came back into power. Right? Around, I believe this is around 1550. I believe around 15. So bear with me. Let me check real quick. Salakia. Right? And so we rule Europe. Salakia, I had to check my notes real quick. I didn't want to be wrong. So we rule Europe, right, from the 5th to the 15th century. Right? So that would be 1,000 years right there. And then after the 15th century is when the Renaissance took place and the so-called white man came back into power. Salakia, let's go back to 2nd Esdras. Chapter 11 and verse 9. I want to jump to the heads, right? I want to jump to the head. So let's go to verse verse 30. Mm, verse 31, right? So this second Esdras chapter 11 and verse, I'm going to start at 29. It says, and when they so thought, behold, there awakened one of the heads that were at rest, namely it that was in the midst, for that was greater than the two other heads, right? And then I saw that the two other heads were joined with it, and behold, the head was turned with them that were with it, and did eat up the two feathers under the wing that would have reigned, right? And this great head is talking about America, right? This great head is talking about Babylon, right? It says, Salakia, but this head put the whole earth in fear, and bear rule in it over all those that dwelt upon the earth with much oppression. And it had the governance of the world more than all the wings that had been, right? It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, the head that was in the midst suddenly appeared no more, like as the wings, right? Because America is going to get destroyed, right? It said it suddenly appeared no more, right? Let's go to the book of Revelation, chapter 17, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, right? And this is talking about America. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication, right? Because all of these other nations, they do trade with America. You know, they take on America's holidays, their philosophies. You know, they even share festivals with America, man. You know, you got movie festivals and all of these other things that they do. You know, they commit a lot of fornication with America. You know, and they be made drunk off of the wine, you know, that it comes with, man. You know, you got the Chinese man wearing tuxedos now. You know, you got Salakia, my next door neighbor. You know, she East Indian. You know, she come out talking about, you know, she went and got her body done, you know, trying to look like Eve, man. You know, trying to look like Eve. You know, she Pakistani, but she says she don't date Pakistani people. You know, because why? She's drunk off the wine of Babylon. You know, she doesn't want her old culture no more. She wants to be American now. You know, she wants to live the American lifestyle, chase the American dream. You know, and that's being drunk off the fornication of this great whore, man. Right? It says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sitting upon a scarlet colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Right? And these 7 heads and 10 horns are NATO and the EU. Right? It says the 7 heads are Greece, Rome, Spain, France, Germany, Russia, and Great Britain. Right? Salakia. I'm going to keep going. It says, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color. She was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Right? Because America ain't nothing but a dressed up prostitute. You know, the prostitute with the most STDs on the corner, but look the best. You know, just used up, but sugar coated. You know, like a dirty piece of candy, but no, like a piece of candy on the outside, but poop on the inside. Imagine something like that. That's America, right? Because it's full of abominations. It's dressed up to be this great country, but it's full of abominations and filthiness, man. It's not what it's cracked up to be. It says, Salaki, I'm gonna jump down to verse. I'm gonna jump down to verse 12. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, right? But receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. So they ain't received no power. They ain't received no kingdom yet. But we see that Vladimir Putin, he's ready for his kingdom. He says he's coming to take the throne. He's tired of America. He's tired of being shitted on by America, man. You got all these movies come out, these damn James Bond movies with James Bond killing all these Russians. You think they like seeing that all the time? They don't like seeing that. They ready to destroy America, man. they ready to wipe them off the map, man. And they go get their chance too. It says, but receive no power as kings, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is the Lord of lords and King of kings. And this is talking about the final battle, right? The final battle between the saints and Gog and Magog and all of their bands, as we would have read about in Ezekiel 38 if we would have kept on down, right? It says, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful, right? I'm jump down to verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, right? So, America's allies, along with Russia, America's allies, they go turn on America, and along with Russia, go join in and help destroy America, man. This is what's going to make that head. This is what made that head disappear in Second Esdras, chapter 10. Right, let's go back to Second Esdras. Let's jump to chapter 12 and go to verse 23. It says, to get the interpretation, it says, in his last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms. Wait, I'm going to go to verse 22. It says, and whereas thou sawest 3 heads resting, this is the interpretation. In his last days shall the Most High raise up 3 kingdoms, right? And these 3 kingdoms are America, the EU, and Russia, right? It says, and renew many things therein, and they shall have the dominion of the earth, right? Because they have the dominion right now. It says, and all of these are so-called Edomite nations, man. It says, and of those that dwell therein with much oppression above all those that were before them. Therefore are they called the heads of the eagle. For these are they that shall accomplish his wickedness, and that shall finish his last end, right? These are they that's going to start World War III, man. It says, and whereas thou sawest that the great head appeared no more, the great head which was America, it says, it signifieth that one of them shall die upon his bed, and yet with pain, right? America is going to get destroyed with thermonuclear fire. It's going to die with pain, right? And Russia and the EU, they going to think of themselves to be the world powers now. They going to say they in charge now. Mainly Russia, right? It says, for the 2 that remain shall be slain with the sword. For the sword of the one shall devour the other, but at the last shall he fall through the sword himself, right? So it said the sword of the one shall devour the other. So Russia is going to take out Russia along with their allies, right? Let's go back to the book of Ezekiel to see who Russia's allies is. Salakia. I know I'm all over the place, but bear with me. Might have to make this a part 2. Russia along with all their allies, right? Ezekiel chapter 38, and I believe I want verse. I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, right? And I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, right? Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya, right? Who is Persia? Persia is you got Iran, you got this modern day Persia, the land of Iran, right? And that's one of Russia's main allies, man. Got Russia, you got China is one of their allies, all of them, right? It says Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, and with all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands with the house of Togarmah, and the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee, right? Be thou prepared and prepared for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them, right? So it said, and be thou a guard unto them, right? And we know that it's Russia that's going to be the last one standing, because it says this when you read on. It says, after many days thou shalt be visited, in the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, but it is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them, right? So they gonna get the thought in their mind to, you know what? We ruling right now, but I want to go up against them Israelites. They living too good over there. I want to go up against them. So they gonna try to come up against us, the saints, man. You know? It says, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm. Thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land, thou and thy bands and many people with thee, right? It says, thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, shall say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates. Because why? Our whole homeland was destroyed. We don't have no walls, no bars, no gates. You know, we don't have that. It's not built up yet. We haven't conquered the heathen yet. To build up our kingdom. This is right before the kingdom, right? It says to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle and goods, to dwell in the midst of the land, right? I'm gonna jump down to verse 14. It says, therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, thus saith the Lord God, in that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou not know it. Right? It say, when the people of Israel dwell safely, shalt thou not know it. The Lord is saying a rhetorical question. He's saying a rhetorical question. He said, you know damn well they over there dwelling safely. It says, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, right? Out of the north parts, right? This once again solidifies Russia as that north country that's going to be the one to destroy America, man. The Lord is cold. It says, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company and a mighty army. It says, and thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me, when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes, because the Lord is going to destroy their ass utterly. It's not even going to be close, and he going to use us to do it. Let me go to the book of Micah. This will be the last one, and I'm going to close out through the Spirit. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab two more, and then I'm going to close out through the Spirit. Right? Let me go to the book of Micah. Right? Micah chapter 4 and verse 11. It says, now also many nations are gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. But they know not the thoughts of Yahweh, neither understand they his counsel. For he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Right? He said he gonna gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Let's get what that look like. Sheaves. on the floor. Right? He said he gonna gather them like sheaves on the floor. He gonna put them in a pile, man. The Lord just said he gonna put them in a pile, man. He gonna pile them up. It say, as sheaves into the floor, arise and thresh, verse 13. It says, arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thy horn iron, right? And I will make thy hooves brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many people, and I will consecrate their gain unto Yahweh, and their substance unto Yahweh of the whole earth, right? Hey, so that's gonna be the point where we take the kingdom, man. You know, that's the point where we take the kingdom, when we go beat in pieces many people when they come up against us, and the Lord give us that power, you know, with his word, you know. This is the book of Daniel. This is the last one, right? This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 18. It says, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. By Shema Mashiach, Wamalaki Awashai. All right, so with that, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High Yahweh. By Shema Mashiach, Wamalaki Awashai. Shalom.